Yeah, Chuck, let me get off the phone. You're on the wrong phone. I Chuck, quit calling me on this phone.
No, you ain't tell me that. All right, I'll take it. What you want to do? You put him in the room?
Take him to the house and then call him when they get to mine.
I already got me already, boss.
Oh, okay.
I don't know how to tell you, but I got this motherfucker stuffed like a motherfucking baked potato.
Do what you gotta do. Get out the here so we can breathe.
What up,
But being humble, man. Humble got me fucked over.
To leave a voice message, press 1, or just wait for the tone.
White boy. SOS. She left me.
To leave a voice message, press 1, or just wait for the tone.
White boy. SOS. She left me in the jungle, man. It's the jungle out here, man.
If you are satisfied with your message, press 1. To listen to your message.
On October 28, 2005, the long-awaited federal indictment for Demetrius and Terry Flenory was unsealed. 25 BMF members were initially charged with a range of felonies, including money laundering, conspiracy to distribute cocaine, and for the brothers, running a continuing criminal enterprise.
We had overwhelming information and evidence, and it just kept growing exponentially. In fact, the problem for us really became not was there enough evidence, but it became keeping the evidence organized, trying to determine what evidence to use and what not to use. We had so much.
The DEA's case was based on wiretap evidence, both on Terry's and Meech's side of the organization. The IRS had compiled a massive amount of evidence demonstrating that the two brothers had been hiding and laundering huge sums of money, proceeds from illegal drug operations. Together, the DEA and the IRS had coordinated local police departments from all around the country and amassed enough evidence to demonstrate the extraordinary reach of the Black Mafia family.
On initiating the investigation, Frank and myself and other agents went to great pains to try to identify random law enforcement contacts with members of the BMF. And in fact, we were able to identify approximately or more than 500 kilograms worth of seizures from random law enforcement activity and several $1 million worth of money seizures.
We knew who the players were as far as when we know somebody got stopped. Okay, we know that that guy was associated with BMF. Now let's backtrack and find out exactly how he was tied in.
Analysis would be done of the phones they were carrying, and the address books would be looked at, and there would be a common theme in the names that were stored inside the cell phones. Investigation from there on the vehicles and the titles and the ownership often led to tying those vehicles and those individuals and those seizures back to the BMF.
On the lead up to the takedown, tensions were high. Years of hard work had gone into the investigation. They needed to catch Meech and Terry.
It was a concern that Terry and Demetrius might get away. They had passports. They were worldly. They had traveled to Europe and elsewhere and had the means to disappear. And if they disappeared, my way of thinking is that the case was a failure. But the marshals doing what they do well, they came up with some information about Demetrius' whereabouts. They actually arrested Demetrius in Frisco, Texas on October 20th. Terry was taken into custody in the St. Louis, Missouri area the day of October 26th. And in pretty short order, we had all 25 of our defendants off the Detroit indictment in pocket.
Several of the 25 defendants immediately began to cooperate with the DEA, including one of Terry's most trusted managers.
This whole death before dishonor, you know, that's all good when the money's flowing. But when the money dries up and there ain't nobody looking out for you, and then you yourself are looking at a pretty long sentence, the way I look at it, it's every man for himself.
We just really trying to motivate niggas and let niggas, know that niggas is really out here getting it like this, man. It ain't hard to get. The shit ain't far away. All a nigga gotta do is get on a real serious grind, man, with a real group of niggas that ain't gonna fucking tell, nigga.
Another key defendant that turned was BMF's CFO, William Doc Marshall.
Bill Marshall, not unlike many other defendants in this investigation, began to cooperate, essentially looking for a way to reduce his future prison sentence.
He really laid out a lot of the financial stuff of the BMF organization. He really filled in the holes as far as how the straw buyers worked, how they moved money from city to city.
His information was very useful going forward, and we went from 25 defendants to where we ended up, which was the conviction of 66 defendants in Detroit alone.
With the help of Doc Marshall and other cooperating defendants, the DEA was able to effectively dismantle the Black Mafia family. All in all, 125 members, associates, and relatives were indicted and convicted. Out of the 125 members indicted, only 8 went to trial. Just 2 days before their trial dates, Meech and Terry both pled guilty without cooperation. They were sentenced to 30 years.
Both Demetrius and Terry Flenory and almost all the rest of the members of the organization realized that the evidence was absolutely overwhelming. So pleading out to 30 years, I suppose, seemed a little bit better than life. The financial judgment in the indictment and what the Flenorys took responsibility for when they pled to 30-year prison terms was $270 million. And if you conservatively convert those dollars into kilos, we're talking about the distribution of between 15 and 18,000 kilograms of cocaine was during the life of this conspiracy. And this, one of the largest homegrown domestic distribution organizations in the history of our country.
I wish I could be there tonight, but God knows I wish I could be there tonight. But one day soon, I'll be there with God's blessing. I just want to thank everybody for coming. Hope they enjoyed it. Don't want to take up no more of your time. Just have the time of your life, and I'll see somebody in the morning.